Hi, we're going to start with our high frequency words. The first word we have is Annie. You spell Annie, A-N-Y. The boy in the picture is wondering if there are any fairy tales in the library. Our next word, the second word we have is from. You spell from, F-R-O-M. The grandmother is reading to her grandchildren from her book. The next word we have is happy. You spell happy, H-A-P-P-Y. The children in this picture look happy. I can tell they're happy by the looks on their faces. The next word we have is once. You spell once, O-N-C-E. The girl is pretending to be a queen in a story. The story tells that once upon a time, or at one time, there was a queen. The next word we have is so. You spell so, S-O. The dad and the girl in this picture are laughing so much. They must be reading something funny. And our final word is upon. You spell upon, U-P-O-N. This boy is pretending to be a queen. Not a queen, a king in the story. And this story tells that one time or once upon a time, there was a king. I got the king and the queen all mixed up. My goodness, this little boy is probably like, Miss Lewis, I am not a queen, I'm a king. All right, the story we have today is called The Magic Paintbrush. The Magic Paintbrush is a folk tale. You can see at the beginning of the book, it shows it's a folk tale. Now, a folk tale is a story based on customs and traditions. They often teach lessons, even though the events are not real. There's real lessons that can be learned in these folktale stories. This is The Magic Paintbrush, retold by Amy Helfler, illustrated by Ethan Long. Once upon a time, there was a poor girl named Lin-Lin. Lin-Lin wanted a paintbrush badly. One night, Lin-Lin had a dream about a magic paintbrush. Anything it painted became real. In the morning, Lin-Lin saw a paintbrush. Was it magic? Okay, so this is a young little girl named Lin-Lin, and she's poor, and she so very badly wants a paintbrush. One night, she dreams about a magic paintbrush, and it turns paintings into real things. She wakes up, and she finds a paintbrush on her bed. Okay, so I think that Lim dreamed about a paintbrush because she really wanted one so much, so badly. Over here it says Lin wanted a paintbrush badly, and I think that she had that in her mind before she went to sleep, and that's why she dreamed about this paintbrush. Also, I highlighted the high frequency word once and the high frequency word upon. Again, folk tales do start with stories that say once upon a time. So that does help us realize that this is a folk tale. Lin wanted an orange. It became real. I can have anything I want, she thought. Soon, people came from far away. They wanted Lin's help. Lin painted rice for a poor woman. She painted rain for a farmer. Oh my goodness. And we do have our high frequency word from. So Lin, she tries the paintbrush. She paints the orange, and then it became real. And so the paintbrush is magic. Lin uses her paintbrush to help others. She paints things that people need. For example, this lady over here in the text, I read that there was a poor woman. She painted rice for her so she'd have something to eat. And then there was a farmer farmers need rain so that their crops will grow. She painted rain for the farmer so that it would rain for his crops. So people heard of her magic paintbrush and they wanted her help. They came to her for help. I also know that this is a folk tale because a magic paintbrush does not really exist, even though that would be really nice if we had a magic paintbrush that we could paint something and it came true. It became real. A man named Chang waited. Then he grabbed Lin Lin's paintbrush. I'll be so rich, Chang said, and he ran away. Chang painted a silk robe and it became real. Then he painted gold. The gold became real too. All right, I highlighted the high frequency word so. So this is Chang. He's a new character that came into the story and he steals Lin Lin's magic paintbrush. He paints a silk robe and it becomes real. He paints gold and then the gold becomes real. Now he steals this magic paintbrush because he wants to be rich. He wants to have all these really nice things. Chang got tired of painting. A swim might be nice, Chang thought. I must not leave any of my gold. Chang stuffed his pockets and trudged into the sea. Okay, so he does paints more and more gold until he gets tired of painting the gold. And so he decides to go for a swim. He's bored. He wants to go for a swim. And my goodness, look at all of this gold he has. But he decides, I cannot leave this gold. He's afraid somebody is going to take that gold when he goes out for a swim. So he decides to put all of this gold in his pockets. He stuffs his pockets with gold because he doesn't want anyone to take it. The gold was heavy, and Chang couldn't swim. Lin Lin saw Chang. She asked a man to help. Look at their faces. He's worried he's going under the water. She's worried because he's going under the water. Chang lost his gold, but he was happy. Here's your paintbrush, he said. A friend is worth more than gold. So the gold in Chang's pockets, it got really heavy, and then it kind of pulled him down into the water, and so he couldn't swim. He couldn't keep up in the water. And Lin, she sees him, and she realizes he needs help, and so she asks somebody to help her get him, and she saved him. And even though he was kind of ugly to her, she still was good to him. He took her paintbrush, but she's just good-hearted. She says, you know what, this guy needs help. And she saved him. And he decided in the end to give the paintbrush back. And he also feels he learned a lesson. A friend is definitely much more important than being rich. And he does give her the paintbrush back. We do have our high frequency word happy that's highlighted. But in this story, we learn the folktale lesson that we learn is that friendship is definitely more precious than gold. It's just, you're actually richer by having a good friend that will be there for you than to have gold. Gold cannot buy what friends can give. So we do have our two characters. We have Lin Lin and Chang. And when I'm thinking about the plot, I think about the people that came to see Lin Lin. Back on page 5, as she said that people came to see her. They had some problems. For example, the poor woman, she painted rice for the poor woman so she would have something to eat. And that's how she solved her problem. The farmer, he needed rain for his crops to grow. And so she painted rain so that the farmer would have moisture for the crops to grow. She's very giving. Let's go back to this beginning here and let's talk about the sequence of events. First, Lin wanted a paintbrush, and so she's thinking about it. She goes to sleep. She dreams about the magic paintbrush, and she woke up to one right here on her bed. Oh my goodness! And so then she used the paintbrush to help people. Once she realized whatever she painted became real, she used that to help others. She's very kind. Then after that, Chang came and he took her brush. And anyway, he didn't use the brush like she did to help others. He used it to help himself. He was kind of a greedy, selfish little guy at first, just at first. And he ended up getting himself in a little situation because he didn't want to leave his gold out, and he put his gold in his pockets, and he went out into the sea, and the heavy pockets pulled him down into the water. It was scary. He was worried. But Lin, she did not hold it against him that he took her paintbrush. She asked for help. She saved him, and he realized in times of trouble, this little girl, Lin, is his friend. Even though he took that paintbrush, it didn't matter. And so he decided in the end, a friendship is definitely worth much more than gold. What a sweet, sweet folktale we have just read.